Hey guys, this is Malph, and today we're going to review the current state of tailoring as it pertains to Battle for Azeroth. I'm standing in front of the tailoring trainer down at the base of the temple at Drazalor, right here. Alright? It's right next to that torrent I told you about in the cooking video. Alright, and he's right here, over here. And that's where you pick up your patterns. And then conveniently located next to him is the person that sells the mats that you need for both leatherworking and tailoring. These little doodads right here are pretty neat. They give you a little buff as you go around. But we're going to talk a little bit about tailoring and a little bit about what's happened to it over the years and where it's at right now. So let's talk about where it was. Back in vanilla, all professions, not just tailoring, were very, very useful. That's how you made a living. That's how you got by. Uh, you know, I made a bloody fortune selling bags back in vanilla, and all kinds of bags. So let's take a look. Going way down the list, as you can tell, I've been around for a long, long time. Um, you used to be able to. What is that? That's Northrend. That's Lich King. So let's go all the way down to vanilla. Yeah. All right. So I don't want to bore you with it. Bags. You started off making those little linen bag, 6 slot bags. But your main sellers were the this one right here, the 14 slot rune cloth bag back in vanilla, and the mooncloth bag back in vanilla, which is a 16 slot bag, and that was about as big as you could get. You had the bottomless bag, but very few people had that. I don't have that. But that's how you made a living back then. It was actually useful, and there were lots of useful patterns that you had back in vanilla, and all the way up until very recently, you had stuff that you could use. So that's where tailoring was. Where is it now? What about bags? Because that's really your bread and butter. So you got your deep sea bag, which is a 30 slot bag. It vendors for a gold or so. All right, that's your money maker, or it's supposed to be. All right, but where is it at right now? Well, let's take a look and see how Blizzard interfered with the economy and blocked you. They really did. As a tailor, they screwed you badly. Let's take a look at that. In Vol'dun, once you get revered, you can go to the vendor and purchase a 30 slot bag for gold. In essence, what Blizzard did was set the auction house maximum price for a bag that you could sell. If you sell that bag for anything more than that, you're a fool. Market controls. The same thing happens when government gets involved. So, where are you going to make money with this? With these patterns, probably, a little bit here, a little bit there, maybe here. But how's it going to help you? Well, let's take a look, okay? Because tailoring is actually pretty simple to level up. It's not complicated. Um, you get cloth, especially as a horde in Nazmir and in Vol'dun. There are tons of humanoid mobs that drop cloth that you go through. So let's take a look at what we got here. All right. Um, they threw first aid onto tailoring with bandages. But you know what? I've been playing since the release of BfA, and not one person anywhere has asked me for bandages. Nobody wants these things, and probably because of the natural ability that the classes now have of healing themselves in the Azerite gear with the resilience and stuff like that. So a lot of that has changed. But bandages, first aid's gone. First aid used to be a great little third, you know, secondary thing that you could do, secondary profession, but it's no longer exists. But They actually had the neatest little quests and challenges to do back in vanilla with first aid. And it is just sad what's happened to it. But, you know, you can still make bandages, and that'll level you up some. Then you have these. What this does here is it just it throws a net on the target. We've had these for a long time. It's like you're in Warsong Gulch and somebody's running with the flag. You throw one of these at them, it stops them. This one it'll stop them a little bit longer, you know. But so then you also have this right here, which you can give to your followers, right? And your followers can collect cloth for you on their when you send them off on the mission table. And then you have these flags that you can drop that give a buff to the group that you're in, okay? But you know what? That's an Azerite ability too. There's an Azerite ability that drops a flag that buffs the group as you're fighting a mob. So, yeah, again, there's duplication, and nobody has come to me and say, even my guild, they haven't come and they said, oh, wow, could you make some of these? We could really, no. No, they haven't. Okay, so you've got these pants and sandals and bracers and stuff to make. Great for transmog. Really doesn't do anything for you leveling wise. It's 225. Most of us come on alts with gear that's better than 225 into this expansion. So that, yeah, and you gotta be 111 to wear it. I'll give you a fat for example. You see this cloak right here? It's 225. When you do your first quest on the Horde at the docks and you get done with that quest, you get a green cloak that can warforge to blue. That's more than 225, a lot more. All right, so it's useless right off the bat. So all of this is useless. The only thing it's used for is disenchanting material, right, or scrapper material. This is PvP gear. And you say, wow, it's blue, it's 300. You got to be 120. Most people that are level 120 are way above level 300 gear. You are not going to go to the auction house and buy this shit. So forget about it. To level it up to the next star, you got to do PvP. And you got to get your badges. And then you go and turn them in. Okay? These are account bound though, so they are shared if you want to get your stars up. But there's no point. It's useless. Nobody wants it. Nobody's going to use it. So all this honorable combatant stuff, useless. You know what this is good for? This is good for an abysmal a shard. It's good for a shard for enchanting. That's all it's good for. All right? And it consumes your expulsion, which you need, so yeah, no. Now this is interesting. Okay, here we got 355. Excellent piece of gear. 355 gloves. Great. Okay, I want that. Oh, look, I have the mats for it. No, you don't. You need 30 expulsum, and you need 15 hydrocore. I could go on a swearing tirade over this, because this is ridiculous. It is soulbound, and only drops off mythic dungeons. Now they added heroic in later, but there's a chance it'll drop in a heroic. There's a chance it'll drop in mythic. Guess how many drop? One. You're going to run 15 mythic dungeons to make 355 gear that by the time you get to it, you've already got better through a Warfront. Warfront. 350. Why would I spend 15 runs in some godforsaken goddamn dungeon to get a mat that I should be able to get anywhere in the world? Why? I spent 10 minutes in a war front. I got gloves, $350. It's ridiculous. Actually, those don't come from the war front. Those come from a world boss. A world boss, I'm sorry. But the rest of this gear I got from war fronts, you know? Why? That is stupid. Blizzard, you have totally butt screwed every tailor in the game with this crap. And every profession goes through this. This hydrocore needs to go. Just go. Let me tell you my philosophy of professions. No profession should be gated behind PvP or a dungeon. A profession is something you do in the outside world to make you money, help your friends, gear your alts. It is not something that you should have to endure 15 freaking mythic dungeons to get. That is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Let's look at the pants. $355. Again, that's nice. And it's available at $320, $120. Boy, I would love to be able to get my alts this right as soon as they hit 120. I would love to do that. Can't. 15 mythic dungeons. Probably 20, 25 heroic dungeons to get the materials I need to make that. And I know on my alts that I can go into war fronts and get that gear. I have 6 120s. None of them are below 340. None of them. Most of them are above. This is stupid. Get rid of it, Blizzard. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. It doesn't need to be there. And lower the number of this. Why do I say that? Because of this. Malph is also an enchanter. I'll get to enchanting in another video. But as an enchanter, you have to choose between this and disenchanting material. Which do you need more? That's a decision you have to make. Okay? So tailoring, it's easy to level it up, but it's absolutely useless when you get to the top. These 32 slots bags are nice, but look here. You need 2 of those. So I got a set of 4 bags. I can't change the backpack. 4 bags, 32 slots. Okay. Then I got all my bank bags too. I might as well quit my full-time job, stay in my house, and do nothing but run mythic dungeons from now until the day I die. I'll never get this. I'll never see it. Other people do it, you know, mythic raiders and whatnot. Hey, that's great. Good for you. I have nothing against mythic raiding. I have nothing against mythics. I have nothing against dungeons. You're looking at one of the original raiders. That's right. You're looking at a guy that opened up Zul'Karub. You're looking at a guy that did, Ahn'Qiraj, Molten Core, Onyxia, all of the original 60 raids. I was one of the first to go in and clear Karazhan. So I know. I've been raider. I know what goes into it. But this is useless. This is useless. There is no point to it. Then you have your little follower tree to get extra cloth. Tell me something. Does it look like I need extra cloth? Honestly, this stuff drops like rain in the outside world. So I would like to put this on my followers as something I could put on my followers, but then there's this. Hydrocore. Hydrocore. Who thought up of this? Who came up with this shit at Blizzard? Who? Because I want them drug into the street and I want them run over by a bus. This is bullshit. 100% pure, unadulterated bullshit. And for that reason, I will not run a mythic. I don't need to. Why do I need to? Look at my gear. Why do I need to run a mythic? You have ruined one of the best professions the game has ever seen. Ruined it. Is it worth leveling up? If you're a tailor, I guess you would want to, but is the gear worth it? If you're an enchanter, you could disenchant it. You're not going to sell it. I can tell you that right now. You might sell some bags at cutthroat prices because of Blizzard's market tampering, but you're not going to make money like you used to off of this. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I tend to do that. No, this is just ridiculous. And then you have these spell threads, you know. The resilient spell thread is supposed to stop you from getting stunned or knocked off your mount. Newsflash, it doesn't work. That's right, you heard me, it doesn't work. I get knocked off my mount all the time. And I have this on my cloak. I get knocked off all the time. It doesn't work. It works 70% of the time. It doesn't work 100% of the time. For that matter, neither does leather barding, but I'll get into that when I do my leatherworking thing. But, I mean, it's nice. It's cheap. But, thank God there's no hydrocore here. But it doesn't work. It's glitchy. Then you have these other buffs that give you, slow fall and stuff like that. And then you've got your different cloths that you can make. This one makes you less threatening. It reduces your threat. This one, you can fall further before you take fall damage, But, let's say you got a rogue and you got that. Why do you need that? You already reduce your fall damage as a rogue, so why would you need that? It makes no sense. As a mage, you'd say you're a mage. Because most cloth wearers are also tailors. Let's say you're a mage and you've got slow fall. Why would you need that? Whoever thought of it, it's like they just, give them some shit. And they no thought went into this. No creativity went into this. Nothing. They shit all over our professions, guys. It was an afterthought. They didn't even consider it. Let me give you some food for thought, because I watch Az from Heels versus Babyface. I watch a lot of guys. I watch Preacher. I watch, some Asmongold. I watch Taliesin and Evitel. They're all great. And I think they'll all agree that what they've done to the professions is just criminal. And Az brought up a good point. You could completely revitalize every profession in the game by introducing player housing. Think about what tailors could do with player housing. And look around your house. Look at all the cloth products that are in your house, from drapes to carpets to rugs to doilies to tablecloths to banners, flags. And think about all the stuff that you could potentially make and make a good amount of money off of as a tailor if they had player housing in the game. Just think about that for a minute to yourself, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But so you got some problems with tailoring. One, you can't make anything you use, and by the time you're able to make it, you don't need it. Number two, market tampering, market fixing. Blizzard has gotten into the same business that the Democratic Party gets into, big government. We're going to control the market price of bags and other things that you can get out in the world. Okay? And item number three, I don't see the effort and the love. I don't see the investment. I don't see any of that here. And adding hydrocore to it to force you into content, let me give you a message, Blizzard. Anytime you're going to try and force me to do content, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I may tolerate daily quests, but I am not going to be forced into doing a mythic dungeon just to get hydrocore. You're sadly mistaken. And if I were you guys, I wouldn't do it either. It's not worth it. So until next time, you guys be good to each other, because at the end of the day, really, what else do you got? And have a wonderful day.